On August 27, 1971, Kentucky Civil Liberties Union and the Legal Aid Society lawyers filed suit on U.S. District Court asking for desegregation of Jefferson County public schools. After 3 years of legal maneuverings, on July 17, 1975, the 6th U.S. District Court of Appeals of Cincinnati ordered U.S. District Judge James F. Gordon to institute a desegregation plan beginning in the fall of the upcoming school year. James F. Gordon's plan involved the busing of 22,600 students, about half of them black and half of them white, out of the total 124,000 students in the combined city-county school system. However, when the school year began, Gordon's busing plan was put into action, riots quickly broke out. White families were angry and refused to allow their children to be bused away from home just to attend school with black students. The riots went on every weekend for 2 months. Police were involved, tear gas was used, several injuries occurred, and fires broke out due to these riots.
What's up, bro? What's up, my guy? You into the basketball tryouts?
Nah, I'm not really into that.
Why not, yo? You're probably nice. You're black. That's looking like an old phone you got there, Tariq.
Yeah, I'm gonna upgrade soon.
Yeah, you should be in the Apple store. You should steal one.
Racism takes shape in many forms. Sometimes it isn't meant to be harmful, but as a joke instead. But people don't realize it can affect people mentally. As you saw in the video, the kid was crying in the bathroom because he was sad that people were using his race as a way to try to joke about him or assume things. And that's how a lot of racism takes place today in schools. People want to joke around with racist jokes, but they don't understand the kind of effect that they'll have on students, which eventually causes them to do worse in school, not want to show up, or even just give up in general.
And for the first time in my life, I felt serious anti-Semitism from co-teachers, from educators. I mean, I thought, the average Joe on the street, the uneducated people, I can understand they would be anti-Semitic. But educators? And they were also racist. This was the period of the Civil Rights Movement, 1965, 66, 67. This was Martin Luther King era. And here I am teaching history. I'm showing film strips of Martin Luther King. I'm reading poems by Langston Hughes to my students. I'm doing a project with the Boston Globe to teach them how to read the newspaper. And left and right, I'm getting the principal is calling me, and the parents don't like Langston Hughes, too liberal. The Boston Globe, it's too left-wing a paper. I was barely 21 years old when I started teaching. They considered me this little communist, left-wing, socialist, radical from New York, and I was Jewish.
These were the parents and your colleagues?
There was that flavor, not the colleagues so much. But clearly there was an air of anti-Semitism, certainly racism. I couldn't get that from educated people. And when Martin Luther King was assassinated in 1968, I was teaching in that April, and the head of my department said to me, "Well, Sheila, your boyfriend got it today." Your boyfriend, that's what he called it.
Hello, I will be reporting on Sheila Horvitz, a Jewish teacher living in Boston, receiving hateful comments that are both anti-Semitic as well as racist from faculty members and parents. To Sheila, she is teaching her students on how to read from reliable news sources such as the Boston Globe, or having her students read poems written by Langston Hughes. She is having her students be updated with the current events happening in the civil rights movement by having them watch videos of Martin Luther King. However, with all of this, she has been given lots of comments of criticism from parents and faculty members. These faculty members are making these comments out of complete ignorance and hate. Racial discrimination does not stop at the footstep of the workplace. We should all be aware of this issue and be proactive about it.
She said, "Oh, they're very busy." I said, "Well, they won't give me any work. But I'm a member of the American Nurses Association, and if they don't give me any work, I'm going to send and have an investigator come and find out why I can't get a job." I had a job the next day, and I've been working ever since. That made me, it made me angry, and then it was a sad thing to think that somebody would make more money than you just because you were a different color. You know, that wasn't fair. I didn't think it was fair.
Jenny's story, it's about she got lower salary just because different color. It's a hidden discrimination. Even though she got a job, government or organization helps her to get a job. Her superior makes things difficult to her. As she mentions about American Nurse Association, she cannot get the assistance easily from them. There are so many workers are suffering. Everyone should face the issue seriously.